Welcome to Career Journeys, a series of videos by the Consortium for Public Education. Here we explore the career experiences and pathways of professionals from a wide variety of careers to help you think about the skills you'll need and the paths you might take after high school.
Hi, I'm Debbie Pixton with the Consortium for Public Education. Today I'm interviewing the Reverend Lee Scott, owner of Laurel Oak Farm. Thank you for joining us, Lee.
It's good to be here, Debbie. Thanks for having me.
Lee, tell me about Laurel Oak and what is it like to own a farm?
So it's a small farm in western Pennsylvania in Butler County, and it's a 37-acre farm, and on it we've got a small herd of beef cattle, as well as we keep for family use a number of fruit trees and berry bushes and things like that. I grew up on this farm and inherited it after my parents passed away, and have really seen it as an opportunity to figure out how do I contribute to agriculture and to feeding people and caring well for animals within the farm and within how I work with it.
Lee, what do you love about owning the farm?
I think the thing I love about it is it's a deep and abiding connection with the land. To be able to plant a tree and to see that tree grow and to see it grow 30 years later and to bear witness to something that's a long and continuing faithfulness to its work as a tree. I love being around the animals. They're incredibly peaceful. I really love being outside, and it's incredibly life-giving. Now, my circumstance is very similar to a lot of farmers in that I don't work on the farm full-time. I've got a job outside the farm as well. And in my case, I'm a pastor and work for a Christian ministry in Pittsburgh. But I put in a second shift with farm work. And it's the ability to get out of an office and to get outside, to be around animals is really life-giving for me. And I love the balance of those two things. Each has helped me both in like the management capacities that I've learned as a part of being in a nonprofit organization and going through grad school has helped me figure out how to run the farm as a more successful business. In the same way, keeping animals and being close to the land has helped me better understand a lot of how to care well for others.
Lee, what has surprised you since you grew up on a farm, but now owning a farm? What has surprised you in that difference?
I think the thing that has surprised me is the work that was not as much fun when I was growing up. For example, cleaning out a barn, it's a smelly job because you're cleaning out manure. That used to be something that was like, I really don't want to do that. But you know what? I know it's not just me, but there's a lot of folks that our work at the end of the day, whether it's a job in town or elsewhere, there's a number of times where things just don't feel finished. And we long for that sense of accomplishment and completeness. And whether it's chopping wood or cleaning out the barn or fixing a piece of broken equipment, I get a lot of joy and satisfaction out of that in a way that I didn't expect because the job is done at the end. Like something is finished, something has been accomplished. And those little accomplishments compound and bring a lot of joy. And I didn't expect that. I think I honestly, especially as a kid, looked at it as a long list of projects to do rather than an opportunity to feel a sense of accomplishment.
Do you have any experience with like 4-H or any kind of apprenticeships for agriculture?
I do. I grew up participating in 4-H clubs. I learned how to run a meeting. I learned how to build a budget. I learned a lot about animal husbandry and animal science. And I learned how to ask for help and how to give help too. I'd encourage anybody that's interested in agriculture to also reach out to county extension offices, which in Pennsylvania are attached to the Penn State University, that can provide resources for people who are interested in agriculture as either just a concept that you're curious about or potential career.
If students are interested in agriculture, what kinds of questions should they ask themselves before they consider pursuing this as a career path?
There's a lot of career paths that we think, oh, I could never do that. I could never do that. Some of my best friends who are farmers didn't grow up around it. Grew up in the suburbs, grew up in town, and just really loved being outside or gardening and loved animals and pursued a pathway that got them to giving it a shot. So it's easy to set up our own barriers to say, I could never do that. I didn't grow up the way he did. I can't do that. You totally can. If you've got a little bit of intellectual curiosity and you like being outside, here's what I would encourage you to do. I'd encourage you to take a parent or guardian and get down to a farmer's market on a weekend or a weeknight and get to meet a couple of the farmers that are down there. The best possible thing to do, if this is at all curious to you, or even if it's not something that you want to do as a career or pursue, I think it's important for us to understand other people's careers and what they do, especially where our food comes from and how our food is made. And so I'd encourage you to head down to a farmer's market. Maybe go towards the beginning or towards the end. That way it's not super busy. But get an opportunity to talk with some of the folks that are there. Oftentimes, the folks that go to the market are also the owners of the farm. And asking them questions like, how'd you get into this? Or can I talk with you about your career? Can I talk with you about how you do this? People love those questions, especially if they're coming from kids.
In a similar vein, what's one piece of advice that you would give to students who are thinking about a career in agriculture?
My biggest encouragement is to recognize that the field of agriculture is enormous. There are so many different jobs, from working actually in the field and doing production agriculture, to being the person that transports food to and from the farm to a market, to working for a farm service agency for the USDA or for another organization that helps farmers get resources they need. There's also a significant amount of finance and banking that's involved. Farmers often need loans in order to be able to purchase crops at the start of, or purchase seeds at the start of the season. And so there's agencies like Farm Credit that if you're interested in finance, but you also love being outside, that could be a great ticket for you. There's a lot of different opportunities. If you think about what all the different food is that we see in the grocery store, there's a farm that does that. And whether it's keeping cattle, like my family has for 5 generations, or growing vegetables, or like it's a very specific thing to have an orchard because you're focused in on, I produce apples or I produce peaches. The farms that produce the wheat that goes into all of our breakfast cereal are vast. And so if you enjoy driving, you might find yourself behind the wheel of a combine.
This has been really informative and really wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and experiences with us today.
For more information or to learn about other careers in the Career Journey series, visit our website and check back soon for our next installment. Thanks!